Hello, I'm Sean Kent Hayashi with Saucon Valley Cute and Cuddly Toy Schnauzers. And today in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I share my life with 8 little toy schnauzers. Come join me on my adventure today with some highs and some celebration moments, as well as a few little curveballs. I hope you enjoy my videos. I'm really enjoying creating them for you. And if you are enjoying getting value out of this, please hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up to indicate that you are glad to be here. Thanks for watching. Wanted to show you some puppy play going on this morning. It's early, we've just gotten up. Last night, as these dogs were sleeping next to me, Dazzle, little black girl right here, Dazzle, started hacking, coughing, and I got her out of bed pretty quickly, took her right into the bathroom to see what was going to happen, and she threw up a bunch of yellow bile. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because that is a signal that a dog is hungry. And when she has been playing and hanging out with all of us, she may not have been eating enough. And you may recall that I had mentioned that first thing this morning when I got up, I was going to try to use food as a lure with her to teach her about lure behavior. But when I saw the yellow bile, I realized she may have been in her former home eating at night because she was free-fed and she did not sleep with the person who had her. So she would have been in a playpen kind of space at night, and that may be when she ate. And when I saw the yellow bile throw up, I knew she needed food now. So I'm sharing this in part because if you have a young puppy and you're noticing that it's hacking and throwing up yellow bile, that means it's hungry and it hasn't had enough food. And so once I put food out for her, she immediately began to eat, even though it was, again, middle of the night for me, right? But that may have been the time that she's used to eating most often. So I let her do that because her health is far more important to me than her or than my need to create a video this morning showing you that I'm teaching her lure training. So just explaining why I'm not starting the day with Dazzle's lure training, but we will come back to that and see if we can get her to do some lure work. But I just thought you might enjoy some puppy playtime here with my toy schnauzer puppies. And look at how well Emma is doing. She is just totally integrated into this pack. She is confident in this pack now. She understands her place. And I think having Dazzle come along was really great. I took a video yesterday in which Dazzle and Emma, or I guess it was yesterday, day before yesterday, Dazzle and Emma were having a brief interaction with each other. And in that few seconds, in that few moments, the decision was being made about who has the higher rung on the pack hierarchy. And despite the fact that Emma is 2 weeks, 3 weeks older than Dazzle, and Emma is larger than Dazzle, Dazzle was quite confident. Hey, Dazzle. Hi, Dazzle. Yes. Dazzle was quite confident that she was higher on the rung, and the interaction between them, I'll try to see if I can plug it in here at the end of this little clip, made it so obvious that Dazzle won that and Emma ceded to that. Now, at some point, they may decide to renegotiate that, but that's where we stand right now. This little girl, Dazzle, is not low man on the totem pole here, despite the fact that she came most recently. It's you, Emma. And again, it has to do with her just developing more confidence and her learning how to be a dog herself, learning about herself, all of that. But they play like this non-stop, and you can see they are having a great time. I also have a whole bunch of teenagers here now. So 3 of them that you see right now are teenagers. So Truffles, my chocolate, and the 2 new girls, Emma and then Dazzle, are all teenagers. I also have Toffee downstairs at the moment, who is a teenager. And so I'll be talking about what happens when you have teenage dogs quite a bit over the next couple of weeks and how to navigate that. But it's so important that you continue to maintain their obedience routines with them during this teenage phase to help them develop and understand boundaries, because they're going to test the boundaries for sure. Yes, I'm expecting that from you. So when you do it, it won't be a surprise. Yep, because I just love you so much. For those of you wanting a Liberty update, here she is. Miss Liberty is usually by my side, so she doesn't always make it into videos, but she is just a doll. She loves to please, loves to be near me, with me, doing what I'm doing, and I just adore her. Yeah, you're my little girl. Because of Liberty's size, she will always be a perpetual puppy. Everybody assumes that Liberty is just a little puppy, even though she will be 2 coming up soon. Yes. It's 7 a.m. here, and we've been awake for, I'd say, an hour and a half or so, and they are definitely ready for some breakfast. So I put their kibble today into 2 different bowls here. And I'm also really avid about putting Fortiflora, which is a probiotic and helps them with their gut microbiome. So I've sprinkled that on. And then I've also sprinkled the New Vet Plus, which is really great for helping dogs to have a very strong immune system. Links below to both of these products. But the reason I'm sharing this today that's so important to me, I mentioned earlier that Dazzle threw up last night and it was bile. And when I look at Dazzle's worming records, I can see that both she and Emma actually have been on fenbendazole several times. And fenbendazole is a drug that's used to treat giardia. And while their fecal samples may come back negative right now, giardia is one of those things that has a life cycle. And so if they had been treated with Safeguard or fenbendazole for several times and for a week, that's an indication that there was some giardia issues going on here, and it cycles. So for this reason, it's extra important to me that I get this Fortiflora into them. And so I will do so with both the powder form as well as the wafer form today. So now I'm going to feed everybody, and they're very happy about that. This is their normal kibble soaked in hot water with those powders that I mentioned. Sometimes I will weave in other things, the raw or fresh food. So typically they get some of that woven into their food in the morning as well. But you can see here how the interactions go with the food bowl. So sometimes people will tell you that pack leaders eat first. And that has actually not been my experience in the way that I feed my dogs. The pack leader here by far is Grace. There is no doubt about that. But Grace is an extremely nurturing, loving pack leader, and so she will usually let the little puppies go first. So she's taught my dogs. Most of them know that whoever the newest, littlest, youngest puppy is gets access to the food bowl first until they are finished eating, until they move away a little bit. And then the older ones can move in to eat out of this food bowl. But mind you, there's always the dry kibble right here. And so you can see Grace has gone over to eat some of the dry kibble while the puppies are getting the mushy with the powders woven in. I mentioned to you that the New Vet Plus comes in a wafer form, and so does the Flora. And then I will also use this Pet Lab probiotic chew as well. My dogs think of these as treats. Again, the reason I'm highlighting this right now is I have brought 2 new dogs into my pack, and while neither one of them currently are in a fecal test showing that they have Giardia, I can see from the worming schedule that came with them, when you see fenbendazole or Safeguard and you see that it has been given repeatedly and for longer periods of time. So you would do fenbendazole or Safeguard for 3 days just as a preventative, but you would do it for 7 to 10 days if you're treating Giardia. And I can see evidence of that in Dazzle's med schedule. So that makes me say I've just got to be really conscious. I guess another way of saying this is, no matter what dog you get, even if you get a dog from me, from anybody, make sure that about 2 weeks after you've gotten your dog, you're very closely monitoring their eating behavior, their stools, if they're throwing up bile, if there are issues with their stools not being tight. Those are very often early signs, warning indicators that there may be a Giardia issue here that needs to be gotten. If you have one pet, it's a whole lot easier to treat than if you've got a pack like I have, because this is a dog spread Giardia through fecal matter. And so when they sniff each other's behinds or when they sniff each other's poop, that is how worms, Giardia, those kinds of things are spread. So hopefully this is helpful to you as you reflect on bringing a new puppy into your own home, or even just monitoring and paying attention to your own dog's behaviors after being out in a public place where your dog may have encountered another dog's poop. Just pay attention. It typically takes, it can be 2 days or it can be 2 weeks before the signs of Giardia begin to show up. I have seen it happen with dogs that it can happen, the symptoms could show up within less than 2 days. But I learned about this, by the way. This was an issue I had never had for many, many, many years with my dogs and in breeding. But I learned about this issue several years ago. I got a dog myself from another breeder and didn't think much about it, but that breeder sent a couple of drugs. That breeder sent Albon, and the worming schedule showed a lot of fenbendazole. And so my vet had a red flag waving to say, something's off here, we need to check this dog. And surely enough, we checked the dog for Giardia, and that puppy that I had had for less than 2 or 3 days had Giardia. Now, right before that, I had sent a dog home, a dog named Sevi. I had sent him home, and all my dogs here were clear. Everybody was fine. In fact, I had just had Grace in and a couple of them in for their annual fecal exams, and they were fine. But Sevi went to his new home, and within a few weeks, he was testing positive for Giardia. Okay, now here, this is again the great thing about getting a dog from a breeder or a place, an environment where the dog is already used to the potty type surface that you want. Hopefully you see what's going on right here. this little girl is doing her business right where she's supposed to. Oh, and that makes me think of something that I should tell you about. I got an update from Birdie's mom, and she's saying, oh my goodness, they just love Birdie so much, and Birdie goes out and has social visits regularly, and all is going well, but they find it amusing that Birdie can be out in a, let's say, public place, walking through a beautiful park or something like that. Birdie will not go potty in that park. Birdie comes home and she waits until she is in her yard where the potty pad was placed and she was taught to go there, or she waits until she has access to her potty pads. And this is what a lot of my dogs will do. They're trained to go on a potty pad like this. And so I've got good news here about our little our little black girl, who is so cute and so dazzling, is doing her jobs in the right spot. My other girl, Miss Emma, not so much yet. We're still having to work on that, and I'm really hopeful that the pack is going to teach her. I'm really hopeful that that's going to be the way that she gets this. And there's Liberty doing her business over there. So I will get all that cleaned up. Lots of cleanup work here this morning that I will get into next. Since I mentioned cleanup work, I thought I would show you what's involved for me in terms of the way that I keep my dogs. So here's the playpen, but this is from the back wall. You don't normally see this view of it. And you normally see that I do have these 3 potty pads right here, and sometimes they run into them and get them crinkled up a little bit, as you can see there. But I put this potty pad, these 2 potty pads here, because this is where my boy, who lifts his leg, tends to go. And if he lifts his leg in such a way that it comes through the other side of the playpen, I need to be prepared for that. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, if you get a boy from me, or if you have a male dog and you are dealing with potty pads in a playpen like this, make sure that you put potty pads on both sides of the playpen if you have a boy who's lifting his leg in the playpen. And you can see the dogs have done a really good job on eating their morning breakfast meal, even though they will have food available to them all day today. And the next area that I go clean up are these potty pads right in front of the door. Here's what that looks like. So, used potty pads. Those would be ready to go in the dryer. These would be ready to be folded and put out. And then these would have been the toys that I picked up yesterday. I don't put the toys in the dryer. I let them sit on the top of the dryer to dry. So those will get integrated in with the play toys for today. And I will now deal with all of this. Just a day in the life of a dog breeder. I'm working on teaching Dazzle to eat out of my hands and to get very comfortable with my hands. But what has become evident to me is that Dazzle, it appears, was not allowed to take food from her prior owner's hands. And I suspect, given what I recall about what the breeder said to me, this is going to be one of those things, unexpected surprises. Well, I have confirmed this suspicion. Dazzle has been living in a home with a woman in her 70s. And because of that, they did not want Dazzle eating out of hands or scratching her. And so as a result, Dazzle, in my observation, Dazzle has very little experience with sort of that hand comfort level. So touch. Yes, 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 yes. I'm probably going to have Dazzle seeing other dogs doing things as her way of learning. I may have to change my methods to deal with Dazzle, because lure training with a treat may not work, because she may not think she's allowed to eat the treat out of my hands. So this is going to be an interesting one for me to deal with. Fortunately, Emma is quite happy to take a treat right out of my hands, and so that works well, but I'll have to give this some more thought as to how we're going to approach training you under these circumstances. Dazzle? I find it very relaxing to brush and comb my dogs, and I love to do this every day with them. It's a ritual for me that's just incredibly relaxing. And fortunately, both Emma and Dazzle are fantastic already on the grooming table. So this is a real plus for me. Even a week in, I'm still getting a lot of black gunk out of Emma's ears each morning. So I'm still cleaning them with the malachite and then putting a couple drops of this in each ear so that we can make sure that we don't get a mite or other type of ear infection going on for Emma. Fortunately, Emma's head shaking and the behavior that you saw her first night here with me before we went into the veterinarian that next morning to get all that checked out. The head scratching, the ear scratching stuff, the shaking, crazy stuff has stopped. So that's fortunate. Now it's just a matter of getting all the gunk out of the ears. And you might ask yourself, hey, is that normal when you get a new dog? And I would say, no, that is not at all normal. Do not expect that to happen. But if you see a lot of head shaking, ear scratching at any age with a dog, please deal with it right away. Don't let it get out of control. I would say that Emma may have been in a situation where that was somewhat out of control, and someone may have tried to treat it a little bit before she came here, but clearly those issues were still present when she arrived. But we're going to get it, Emma. You're going to be in good shape. The little quarterback is trying to figure out how to get back to me and navigate through all those dogs to bring me that toy. And Liberty is amazing at her strategic ability, given that she is the smallest by far here. And you can see what she does when others try to get the toy away from her. But she's navigating her way back to me to give me the toy so that I will throw it again for her. She's doing her protecting with it now. But what she really, really, really wants is for me to take that toy and throw it again so that she can prove her, I call it my little quarterback. All right, are you gonna give me the toy or not? Yes, you're trying to get here to give it to me. Okay, I got it. I got it safely. And now the game is on. Here we go. Yep, Liberty got it. Woohoo, Liberty! And again, it's making her way back to me. How does she get back here with that toy without one of the other dogs stealing it from her? And this may be one of those moments where someone else is able to steal it. Aha, they stole it. Sorry about that, Liberty. They stole it from you. Do you want to find another one? And these two will work at it until one of them gets it, and then that one will typically bring it back to me to throw for everybody. But this is Liberty's favorite game. She just can't wait. So here we go. Liberty. Oh, ha! That was pretty funny. I guess Liberty didn't like that one. Well, the game is on here, and I'll probably play fetch, get that toy with them for a little while, because it's a great way to exercise on rainy days. It is now 8 o'clock, so I've been down here playing with them, interacting with them for more than an hour. I'll clean up this food, and I will head on upstairs, and I will divide the dogs into little groups. So there'll be 2 or 3 in one area, 2 or 3 in another area, and they'll get some rest time, play time. I'll put them into groups based on their energy level at the moment and who might want to play versus who looks like they're ready for a rest. And I will go do my own So I've done some grooming with them. I'll go do my own grooming now, getting ready for my business day. See you in a little bit. Emma, good girl! Yes, we just had a breakthrough! Yay, Emma! Emma went potty on the potty pads! Yes! Good job, Emma! So happy! Woohoo! This is a breakthrough for you. That's the first time to my knowledge that Emma has done her business on the potty pads. And I'm telling you, it makes such a big difference having Dazzle here, because Dazzle was already trained to go potty on the potty pad. As you can see, Dazzle's hearing me say the word potty. Yes, potty, Dazzle! Yes, good girl! Good girl, Dazzle and Emma! Good girls, yes, Dazzle! Yes, Emma! So we are coming along so nicely. Now, of course, you might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, if I get a dog and I don't have another dog to guide my dog, make sure you get a used potty pad from me or from someone so that you can take the used potty pad and put it where you want your dog to go so that there's the scent. You can also buy potty pads that have a scent to them. In fact, I have them in my in the show more notes, or if you look on my store on my website, SVCCtoys.com has a store link on it, and you can see the potty pad options there that I use. These are disposable potty pads, and then I also have some, or excuse me, these are washable. These are washable potty pads, but I also have some that are disposable that I use when I travel, and some of them have really good scent in them. Again, you'll find the links available. Check in the show notes below. All right, we're not gonna sit on that. We're not gonna lay on that, Emma, come on. Emma, get this toy. Yes, good job. Everybody here is excited about what just arrived. They love these cow hooves. And for little dogs like mine, these cow hooves are fantastic. If you have a teenager, a puppy that is 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 months, you definitely need something that serves as a really good dog chew for them and teach them that this is their toy. So I'll be opening this bag and giving everybody one so that I don't have any toy hoarding or resource guarding behaviors going on. And that's what I'm going to do next. So here's a fun little surprise. If you've been hanging out with us for a while, you probably recognize all 3 of these. But if you've only been with us for a short time, you may recognize who this is. There's our beautiful little chocolate boy, Truffles. And of course, this is Toffee. Anybody know who this is? I'll say shout it out if you know who this is. You probably remember him as Hershey. This is Truffles' full brother. He happens to be visiting at the moment because the person who now owns him has gone to the beach for the weekend. And so he is back for a little play date visit for 3 days while his mommy is off having a great time. But I brought down 3 new cow hooves. And I have, as I mentioned earlier, my dogs in different places. So they're in little small groups spread throughout my house. And this enables them to relax and play, but still have a buddy. So I'll show you me sharing some of these play toys with some others here shortly. But isn't it fun to see how these little guys evolve and grow up? If you were following along when Hershey lived with us, his name is now Biscotti. Biscotti! He says, forget it, I've got my toy. This will keep the 3 of them occupied for quite a while. Just for fun and as a wee bit of a little test to Emma, I decided to bring all of the girls together and to give out the cow hooves to them this way. So when I say this is a little test to Emma, I'm wanting to make sure that we don't have resource guarding. And so everybody's going to get one. And you can see they take them right away. There you go, Emma. Here's one for you. There, Emma, you want one? That's probably new to her. She may be coming from a home environment where she didn't have anything quite like this. Don't know what her favorite chew toys were, but we'll see how they take to this. But this will keep Liberty busy for a long time. And sometimes, yes, they do steal each other's cow hoo, but I make sure there's plenty of them out so that they all have access. And here, what has Miss Emma done? She's gone over and laid down on the potty pad. So of course I'll have to get her off of the potty pad with her chew toy. Hey Emma, let's get off the potty pad. Yeah, that's not where we're gonna lay down. Come over here, get your toy. Want a new one? Want a new one, Emma? Come on this way. Nope, right back to the potty pad. Well, we had a breakthrough with potty pads earlier with her. Hopefully we can keep that going. And I'm gonna take the toy away from her. She's doing great. There's just no resource guarding here. But look at her. Oh my goodness, isn't she silly? She was throwing it for herself. Yes, you can have one, Emma, look. Look, right there. So this will be the entertainment for the next couple of hours here at Saucon Valley Cute and Cuddly Toy Schnauzers as they all chew on their little cow hooves.